morning, good afternoon, guys. We're back from the Geek Tavern, and as always, it's me, Sean, and I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Aaron.
Hi.
And Happy New Year. This is This is our first episode. It'll be released on the 2021. So
Did we pass our actual year mark?
not yet.
Oh,
We're
okay.
getting close.
Okay.
Don't say Happy New Year.
Happy 2021.
Don't say happy.
Happy.
We don't know what it's going to be like. It could be worse.
We probably said the same thing last year. That's what
Probably
triggered it.
did.
I don't know.
No, it's all those freaking people who watched Endgame and Tony snapped at midnight. That's what
Pizza
fucked
time.
everything up. Yeah,
Yeah.
pizza time.
Jeez. I forgot about people doing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. I never
It's
did.
all their fault.
Aaron and I watched Inglourious Bastards
And RV.
and RV. Mike joined us a little bit.
I
for
saw
that
half
one.
of RV.
So,
Mike is now a fan.
two
Yep.
of the yearly staples need to rewatch.
I don't even know how
those.
that became a thing.
I don't know.
Which one?
No,
RV?
I remember we watched RV at your house, but I remember I hadn't seen any of the Tarantino movies. So you, me, and Josh watched all of them like early 2016, like after the new year, and that just kind of became a thing. Like around the holidays, we would watch.
I definitely enjoyed the half I saw, which was obviously the second half. That'd be weird.
I don't even remember how RV came about.
I don't really remember either.
We found that Josh was going through your catalog, and he pulled RV out, and we just ended up watching it.
For some reason, it
For some reason.
became a staple. It's a meme at this point.
Great movie, though.
Yeah,
it is
Robin
good,
Williams' best work.
Yeah, it's a good movie. What else did we watch? Oh, well, I saw Soul.
No, I watched Soul as well.
It was good.
Yeah.
I did not.
It's
Yeah,
a lot more adult than other Pixar movies.
Yeah.
It's definitely for adults, I think.
It was good, though. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it's about music, so I'm down.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
it is very...
I mean, that's what the trailer looks
yeah,
like.
it is
I don't
very jazz heavy, that's
Yeah.
for sure. So, there was something else I feel like.
Oh, and I watched Cop Car.
Oh, yeah.
Cop
Kevin
Car?
Bacon. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
know. Interesting. I haven't watched, aside from what we've all watched together. I haven't watched much. I've been watching a lot of Married with Children for whatever reason. You know,
Good old Ted Bundy.
Al Bundy.
Yeah, what'd I say?
Ted Bundy. Oh, no.
He's funny.
That's
Ted
the other.
Bundy.
That's the other part of the family.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah,
So yeah, we all had the chance to watch Wonder Woman 84 since it was released on HBO Max. So
Yeah.
we all sat down and watched that.
It was good, but it could,
But it
be,
could
better.
be better. Yeah, it was okay. I don't know. There's
Sean and I talked a little bit about this. Out of the last 5 or 6 movies that they've done,
DC.
this was probably one of the weaker ones.
Hmm.
I like the first Wonder Woman a lot more than this one.
I would agree.
I like the premise. I like the setting. I'm a fan of like 80s movies, so the setting of this movie was cool. But I think the execution was a little wonky. Some of the setups especially the setup for Barbara, has been so overdone in every comic book movie that I was just like,
My complaint
I was like, this is too damn predictable.
my complaint is she needed to be a little bit more nerdy and a little bit more. I'm not talking to you. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding, obviously.
yeah, it was just like the villains are so weak in this. Like
Yeah.
like obviously Barbara with her, done to death archetype that they have, and then Pedro Pascal is just like a loser, and then he just like becomes comically like a comical villain because he's like dying while using his powers, but he's like, no, more powers.
Yeah.
It's like, you're literally going to die, bro.
I
Well,
liked him.
and then like
yeah, I mean, he was fine. It's just I don't know. I just thought that it was kind of weak.
he's a villain, but then they like you're like, okay, he's literally causing terrible things to happen, and then they're like, no, you gotta redeem him, you know, make him seem like he's actually a good guy. He's just having a rough time, and then it's like, okay.
Yeah, they totally redeem him at the end. Yeah. And another thing is like so the plot is basically just a huge MacGuffin. It's like, oh, the magic stone gives you wishes. So Wonder Woman wishes that Steve Trevor is alive again, or I guess back with her. And he like inhabits the body of some random dude.
Yeah.
Because
So,
his
like,
physical body is gone.
Yeah, so which doesn't make any sense because the stone manifests a giant wall out of fucking nowhere. So why can't
so
it bring
why
his
can't it
body
just
back
bring
to
his
life?
body back? Yeah.
And not only that, but like, so he's inhabiting this guy's body.
Yeah.
So this guy is like totally losing his job right now because he's just like not going to work, and like everybody sees him as this random guy. So like even when they're like having sex, he's just like that guy. It's like not Steve, it's like that random guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird. The whole thing's weird.
It is very weird.
Yeah, I mean this. Like I said, the premise is good and everything. It's just kind of, it just was not, and I wasn't expecting anything from this movie either. But it just didn't land 100% for me.
So this has nothing to do with the movie specifically, but I've seen a couple headlines on YouTube saying that is Patty Jenkins' future Star Wars project in jeopardy because of the I don't think they used the word flop, but the backlash of Wonder Woman 84.
Doubtful.
And I'm like, what does that have to do with
Doubtful.
anything that they give her?
Doubtful.
It's not even the same studio.
No.
Like, why would that have anything to
And
do
it's
with
a
it?
completely different genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell would they? No.
Listen.
I hate clickbait articles like that
Yeah.
where they're like, well, the funny thing about it is we can't call Wonder Woman a flop yet,
Right.
even though it is probably the lowest
Yeah, it's been
superhero
received
grossing
pretty poorly.
blockbuster. But it's hilarious.
But nothing's open.
But it's hilarious that they had the commercial for Wonder Woman and they're like certified fresh, and then I immediately looked it up and it's at 65%. I'm like, it ain't fresh.
Well,
man.
there was a point before, like
The first day
Yeah.
that it was fresh because 2 people reviewed it.
yeah.
people review stuff before it even comes out
Yeah.
sometimes, so that could be when it was certified fresh. But there was something. Oh yeah, so if David and Dan from Game of Thrones fame can fuck up so royally and still get work,
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins will be fine. You know, like
I just didn't know if you guys saw that because I was like,
no,
that has nothing to do with that.
like M. Night Shyamalan makes like tons and tons of shit movies,
yeah.
and then like one good one every like 10 movies, and he still is allowed to make movies. So
Right.
like,
He's still pretty well regarded.
yeah. So Patty Jenkins will be fine. It's
Yeah.
and it's not even her fault. Like the fault is in the story, which she is a co-author of the story, but like
But it wasn't all bad.
no, I mean it is a long movie though.
It
It's
is.
like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 hours long, and half the shit doesn't even need to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Like I like the stuff in the very beginning with Themyscira, but like, what is the point of that? Because like the theme that they were trying to get out of that setup was like don't take shortcuts, and then that was literally never like explored throughout the rest of the movie.
no, it was.
Oh, with I guess the main
Max,
villain,
yeah.
with Max
Yeah.
Lord. I guess that.
But it
But
wasn't.
it has nothing to
It
do
wasn't
with
about
Diana.
Diana. No,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just.
yeah, it's kind of like weird. It's exposition for the audience, not for Diana.
Unless you count, what's his face coming back,
Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she relinquishes her wish, and
Or maybe that was the thing. Like she wanted him, like she wanted to win so badly that she would take the shortcut, but she couldn't take a shortcut to keep him around.
Yeah,
or to save the world. She couldn't take a shortcut.
Because she'll lose her powers.
Yeah, she
and
had
everything.
to. So I guess you could say that is that, but that's having to look into it.
Yeah,
a little bit
I think
further.
it's definitely meant for
Max.
more for Max, which is just kind of like odd. The parallel themes. It's like, oh, this theme is for the villain of the movie being exposited to the hero.
Yeah.
And then we get the whole her flying sequence like Superman in Man of Steel, and which is accompanied by, for some reason, the score to Sunshine, Adagio in D minor. Did not understand that. I know that's been used in movies, but why it had to be used here, I had no idea.
Well, that's kind of like the thing is, it was supposed to be like a huge triumphant moment, like whenever Superman gives up his powers so that he could be normal, and then he gets his powers back in that scene where the guy's being a dick at the bar. Oh yeah. And like that's a triumphant moment. And,
that's Superman.
Yeah. And other instances like where people lose their powers but they get them back. It was supposed to be like a kick-ass moment, but it was really just kind of lame.
It was just long too, because she's just flying for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, Are you gonna save the world at some point? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering. Like, it's just so long. It really is
it's
just
a very long movie. And then I said to Sean yesterday, Mike, I was like, hey, remember when Max relinquished his wish and it turned Barbara back from being a cheetah to her normal human self, and she had clothes? And Sean's like, yeah. And I was like, why? I'm like, she was like crawling like up onto a rock, and she was just fully clothed. And
yeah,
but
like,
she didn't have any
also,
clothes
why
on.
did she turn into the cheetah though?
Because he said something.
Well, she said she wanted to be like an alpha predator, I guess.
And he said, he said,
Apex
give
predator.
me your life force and give her this
Rage
like,
and prowess.
Yes, and then she
yeah,
just,
but like that's not gonna
she
turn
like
her into a
ran
animal.
off to like become.
Yeah, there was nothing specific.
I mean, unless the stone just interprets, I want to be like an apex predator as a cheetah.
Yeah,
because like she was badass enough just being like regular, you know.
Yeah, because she had the powers of Diana.
I don't know. There's just a lot,
but it's not like she was like obsessed with cheetahs or.
Yeah, I mean, even like her throwaway cryptozoologist and zoologist line, it's just like, okay, I thought that would mean something more than just being kind of like a reference.
Yeah,
it's more or less just a reference rather than actually being anything important.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there's a reason for her to turn into a cheetah.
Oh, so I wanted to bring this up because I completely forgot about this at the end of the movie. So, Max's kid, he wishes for his greatness or whatever.
Yeah.
So does that mean like, is he gonna be like a loser, or like what? Because the wish is granted to him. I don't understand. Like, I don't know what that was supposed to be.
And like in the moment, he didn't become great.
No.
So like I didn't understand it either. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't. It's just it's like any other DC movie. It's just they still are struggling as far as like making a compelling story to keep you engaged. Like they have these ideas, but then they have no links between them. It's just a thread that you can't follow, and it just ends up falling apart on itself.
Yeah, it really is just a step backward in terms of
it is.
Because Wonder Woman was one of the better movies that they came out with.
Wonder Woman was that movie where I was like, okay, it seems like they finally have figured out what they're doing.
Yeah, there was hope.
And then Justice League was like, could have been better, but okay, we're still pushing in the same direction. And then Shazam, which I was like, okay, yeah, that's the best one.
I still haven't seen that one.
Aquaman I haven't seen, but I really don't care to.
Yeah.
But Shazam is easily the best one that they've put out. But this one is just kind of that step backward of, what was your idea?
Yeah, so to get off of Wonder Woman for a little bit, I was talking to Aaron yesterday about this. So DC is so embarrassing because their game plan is to have a Elseworld. There's 2 existing worlds in the DC universe now, because there's the main one with the Justice League and the Batman and whatever, but then there's the Robert Pattinson Batman, because they're going to be unrelated.
Yeah.
And then
even though that movie was originally starring Ben Affleck, written by Matt Reeves, and had Joe Manganiello as the main villain.
Yeah, and now
that would have been awesome.
And now Zack Snyder is calling. He says that the fans can decide whether or not the Snyder Cut is canon or not, and he's described Justice League as being a road that goes nowhere. So what?
Wait, was it him or was it somebody else who said that? Because I don't think it was him.
Well, either way, it has been described that way, which is just first of all, that's a terrible negative connotation to that.
I think they meant Justice League in general, be it Zack Snyder or Justice.
Yeah.
They weren't gonna do anything with it that. Their plan was we did it just to appease the fans, but we're not doing anything with it.
Which is embarrassing in itself, because they rushed Justice League out because of the success of the Avengers.
Yeah.
And now it's such a fucking mess in general.
Can you imagine what The Office looks like at Warner Brothers DC?
I imagine it's constantly on fire.
Well, yeah, there's garbage everywhere. Half the interns are passed out.
It looks like the one scene in SpongeBob's head.
Yeah,
where he forgets his name.
The CEO is just sitting there in his office like this, reclined back with a bottle of Jack Daniels. Nothing is getting done.
He's asleep.
Yeah,
and somebody's boss,
and somebody comes in, the CEO kicks in the door, and everybody's
gets
up and starts pretending to type, and he's like, "What do you got?" And they're like, "Joss Whedon rewrite," and they're like, "Good, let's do it." Do you want a sequel? No.
No. He's just on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want a sequel? Absolutely not.
It's really just baffling at this point how terribly put together.
How the hell do you okay, all right. You could argue that the Disney Star Wars trilogy is bad. It is bad. There are redeeming points to it, but they were all connected in some way, shape, or form.
Two out of 3 ain't bad.
You just made me realize something. So yeah,
there may have been a lack of planning.
The sequel trilogy is a failure and lack of planning for one reason, being that they didn't have an overall structure to, create their movies as they went along. But at least they're okay, we're going to have one, and then a second one, and then a third one. And then it's okay, that's their idea. DC is a failure in a higher regard than that, because they're we're gonna have Batman and then Superman and then Justice League and Aquaman and Shazam come out. It's
DC is a failure in infrastructure.
Yeah, it's just from the ground up, it's just a complete mess.
They just there's somebody walking around he stops the janitor and he's like, "Hey, you, what do you want to see?" And he's like, "Well, I like Aquaman." He's like, "Good, Aquaman, rush it." There is a problem in the infrastructure when you are doing this, and you're just do you go to Comic-Con and they're sitting in Hall H and they're like, "Hey, Justice League 2," and they're like, "No." They're like, "We're gonna do Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker," and they're like, "Ooh, is it connected?" No. And they're like, "Is it connected to anything?" No. Okay, well, what about the Batman? Is that going to be connected to that Joker if it's not connected? No. None of it's connected. Absolutely none of it. They're all their own solo storylines. At that point, just start selling off the rights to every goddamn studio that wants a piece of the pie. Holy shit. Give Disney something to make a Robin movie or something. Give HBO the rights to I don't know, Green Arrow again. Let them make a movie. Like, if you're not going to leave it connected, why the hell are you holding on to the rights?
The thing is that the animation studio is like great, like genuinely good.
Yeah,
everything that
that's
they
where
do
they excel.
so it's like I'm imagining it like two parts of a building where like one side is like, oh, it's a nice regular building, people come in, they do their
The other
office
side
work.
looks like when Wanda blew up
I was
half
gonna
that
say
apartment
yeah,
building.
the other side
There's
looks
fire.
like Baghdad. It's like broken pillars and like all the
You walk
desks
through
are
the
like
office, all
crumpled.
the windows are just shattered out. There's just wind just gusting through. There's bodies strewn about.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just
So what you're
something.
telling me is they used DC's headquarters in the opening to Justice League, or no, Batman vs Superman.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah, that tower is
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Oh, is that whenever Wayne Tower explodes?
Yeah, that's Warner Brothers DC headquarters.
Like,
Seriously, how do you do that? How do you continuously make movies like that? And you're like, yeah, they're not like, you are starting to build a cinematic universe. You have Man of Steel. Okay, it doesn't do as well as everyone would like, but it establishes that you're trying to build to something. Then you do Batman versus Superman. Okay, we brought them both together. Now we have Wonder Woman in there. Oh, we're going to do Justice League. And then they're like, yeah, forget it.
yeah, we're
They're
done.
like, we don't know what else to do. No, and then you spin out Aquaman after Justice League. Like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And then a Flash movie, and they're like, well, maybe.
well, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe the Flash movie's gonna really bring everything together.
Doubtful.
I mean, it's a Flashpoint movie.
I
so-
have high hopes, and I love the Flashpoint.
Yeah,
Flashpoint's a great storyline. Let's hope they don't fuck it up.
yeah. I
The
don't know.
animated Flashpoint's pretty good.
Yeah,
it
the
is
animated
very good.
Flashpoint's very good.
Yeah, I do. I'm very excited for Flashpoint either way, and maybe that's where it's gonna just like, it doesn't all have to make sense, but maybe it's gonna like have some connecting tissue to this corpse of a franchise that is
Yeah.
happening. You know, it's just like they're 10 years deep into this. You think that maybe they're trying to make their own name for themselves, like they don't want to
Bro.
rip off Marvel's formula
Bro.
the whole way, but
It
it's like
doesn't matter.
it clearly is. It
yeah.
works.
It doesn't matter. Like, at that point, you're not ripping off the formula. You're
You're doing the formula that
you're
works.
doing your research on their formula and then creating your own thing based on it. That's what Pepsi's done. Basically, a competing thing. Like, I think that they're hurting themselves by not trying to do what they're doing. Stick to your gritty shit. I don't care. Stick to the gritty storytelling. That's cool. That's your thing, and that's what works for you. But try to actually do it right.
Yeah, the
Quit-
story isn't the problem. It's the story is kind of the problem, but like the style isn't the problem. Like the gritty stuff isn't the problem. It's that nothing fits. You know, they really have no idea how to make them work together.
Yeah.
They just kind of are their own independent things.
Like when I think about the Avengers and like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's all very uniform. You know, you can just imagine it, and you see all those characters standing coming out of the portals in Endgame. Now, when I think about the DC Cinematic Universe, it looks more like Tetsuo at the end of Akira, where he's just this amorphous blob of nonsense that just is growing, but no one can seem to stop it, and it's gonna just explode at some point. Like, it just is a mess, an absolute mess. And I think the state of Warner Brothers and their DC Cinematic Universe trickled into this movie, and I think that's why it took a step backwards, because they don't know what the hell they're doing with it.
Yeah.
They don't know how it's going to tie into anything.
Yeah, the first one was just successful because it was so unconnected, because it was, 50 years in the past.
Yeah.
Well, over that, but like it was so unconnected. And now this one is getting closer to being more connected, being, in the 80s.
The first Wonder
Yeah.
Woman was like 100 years.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But then now this one is like, and it's not even connected really. It's just kind of like the beginnings of it, and it still just sucks.
It's still a mess.
Yeah,
Would I watch it again? Yeah.
I
maybe.
mean,
I probably would. Yeah.
But would I dig it out to watch it? No.
I'm guessing that this is what happens when Zack Snyder is your lead creative, whereas Kevin Feige is the lead creative in Marvel. It's like, oh, Zack Snyder's the lead because he's DC's messiah for some reason.
He's their messiah, yet they want to distance themselves from him after the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand the infrastructure at DC, Warner Brothers, like how business is being conducted, but they need an overhaul, big time.
I mean, the stories are there for the last. I mean, DC's been around for what? When was Action Comics 1?
Almost 90 years ago, probably.
Yeah. Like, they have the stories, so there's no reason why they can't figure something out.
Yeah, there's well, and it's Warner Brothers' fault. And I mean, they've been par for the course here for the last year with their bullshit of throwing movies onto HBO Max that the studios weren't told about ahead of time. Like, they're really digging their own graves at this point. They had their disputes with was it Universal with AMC? But Warner Brothers shot back something too. So they're digging themselves their own grave at this point. Like, and I'm wondering if they're just not like, well, it's been a nice run, so we might as well just run this into the ground while we can.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like they're afraid to do a complete from the ground up restructuring because like they'll attempt it at like they're like, oh well, we'll do Zack Snyder's cut, and then it's like, oh, we'll do something else. It's like, we'll try this new. We'll do the Flashpoint. That's new. It's like, just start over. You know, like you tried, start again.
Which Flashpoint would be the perfect reset.
Yeah, it would be.
You still have Ezra Miller, but like, I mean, you could just completely reset everything.
Yeah, you could write anything you wanted with a Flashpoint, which I'm excited to see any idea of what that they come up with.
Yeah.
But it'll probably just be regular nonsense.
Well, considering it's been in production purgatory for the last like 4 years, I'm guessing it's gonna still be a while.
I mean, with Keaton coming back, I have hope, but we'll see.
It's gonna be a while before you see it.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, that was a bit of a tangent away from Wonder Woman.
Well, there wasn't a hell of a lot to talk about.
Not really.
Yeah, I guess not. Is there anything really else to talk about Wonder Woman?
Do we rate it?
I mean, we can rate it.
Yeah, sure. No.
Yeah, the climax is... Okay, so I have one question about the climax. So, Max is, like, using that, like, whatever, the space, or the Star Wars technology to, like, put the particles or whatever on the people, so it's, like, touching everyone in the world. That's how he's able to grant the wishes. So, but Diana knocks over the camera, okay? Oh, by the way, spoilers for Wonder Woman. She knocks over the camera, but she like lassos him, and then she's like talking to everybody on the planet through the lasso. But like, how though? Like, cause it cuts to around the world, and it shows like the screens, and it's just like glowing gold.
I wonder if it wasn't just because he was standing in the transmitter, like that it was.
Oh, maybe, yeah, because he was in the middle of it. That could be. Right,
yeah, he was standing in the time displacement field from the Terminator.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that could be why. But that brings up another question. So whenever in Justice League, where Wonder Woman first shows up, they act like nobody knows her. You're meaning to tell me that, like,
you mean Dawn of Justice?
Well, yeah. Yeah, Justice. Yeah, Dawn of Justice. But
no, this retcons.
Yeah, because it's like,
because she's
people
like stayed hidden for so long.
People would know, like people would remember that because nukes are literally disappearing in the air, and they're reacting to that. You know, like this would be a huge event that people would fucking remember.
Yeah, and apparently
was it all erased though?
It was erased, but they were reacting like they were remembered what happened.
Okay,
like
so
the military guys were like, "We're losing nukes; they're disappearing on the screen."
That was still in the moment, though. I kind of thought maybe at the end, like it was erased from their memory, but I don't know.
It could have been erased from their memory, but there was so much shit that was still left over that people would have been like, what the fuck's this cow doing here? You know, like...
Yeah, like, oh god, California's on fire. Like,
it's still on fire. Someone wished for that. Oh, and then we said something, too, about, like, there were definitely people who...
Yeah, didn't renege their wishes.
Yeah.
Unless, like, Max...
renouncing
his wish.
Just chain reaction to all that.
Yeah, unless that was the case, there are definitely people who didn't.
Yeah, I feel
change their
like
wish.
once he renounced his wish, everybody's just gone.
Yeah, I'm guessing like once he is no longer the stone, then that everyone else's wishes are like counteracted because they made the wish on him.
Yeah.
So now that it is no longer in existence, it can't exist.
They never explained how he knew about the stone either.
No, he just finds it.
Yeah, he just knows about it.
He was going to buy it from that.
Yeah, but like,
behind
how
the
does he
wall.
know?
Right, yeah, no, that, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that is the scene, huh? Why would a black market have like receipts with people's names who's going to buy it? I just realized that.
This one's from Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, because
the oil TV guy. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down too, so I remember that. Push it over here.
I just
no cops break in.
I just realized that. That's how Diana knows that he's fishy. Is
Yeah,
because it has his name in it.
Well,
Bro, what?
It was underneath the cushion stuff.
Yeah,
though.
what the fuck? That makes no sense.
No.
Black market people wouldn't be like, here we go, this is for Maxie. Heart, smiley face. What?
Max Lord lives at 255 Lincoln Drive. You know, phone number 725.
Yeah, like
Give his
blood
social security-
type, son's name, Alistair.
wow, that is so sloppy. I didn't even realize that until just now. Oh my god.
All right, now can you give me all the information, Max? Is this a secure line? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. That puts you at ease. Meanwhile, the secretary just accidentally hit like line 2 and they're listening in on everything.
Hits it over the intercom of the mall. Yeah, no, this is Greg from the black market.
You know,
No,
the black
yeah.
market guy.
In the back of the bank. No, yeah, in the bank at the mall. Yeah, okay. We'll see you soon. Love you. Bye. Wait.
Yeah, no, you know, the jewelry shop. Yeah, the one on the second floor. You know, by the Macy's. No, if you hit the Macy's, you went too far. We're right off the escalator. Yeah, if you walk in, you ask for Paulie. I'm back here in the back.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm shocked that type of writing isn't actually, like, in there. Like,
At least it would have been
because at least
funny.
I would have laughed.
Yeah. At least they would have had something
I
to it.
would watch the shit out of that movie.
It's just villains being really bad at
Really
being
stupid.
villains.
Wow.
And then the cops just show up. Like, that movie ends like that, because the cops just show up at Max Lord's, like, business, and he's like, can I help you? And they're like, yeah, you're under arrest for purchasing black market artifacts. He's like, what? And they're like, yeah, you've been reported as buying this. He's like, I didn't even pay for it yet. How did you know?
It would just be intent to buy at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, 6 out of 10, I guess.
I would give it a 6 out of 10 too. That 2 would be my consensus.
I'm gonna go 5. It was okay.
Wonder Woman is good, but it could be better.
Yes,
Wow.
that is my review of Wonder Woman.
I don't blame.
It's good.
I don't
But it could
blame
be better.
Pedro Pascal or
No, he does.
Gal Gadot
They
or
do well
Kristen
with
Wiig.
they do
Like,
well with the
I honestly
material that
really
they're
enjoyed
given.
Kristen Wiig.
Me too. I
Yeah.
thought she was pretty good.
No, all the actors do a great job in this movie. They work well with the material that they're given.
Oh.
It's just the material that they're given is not as good as it could be.
So, how do you guys feel about how Cheetah looked in that scene? Because I know some, like you said,
I was fine with that. I'm getting like weird things like on Twitter. I posted that and I said the same people complaining how Cheetah looks in Wonder Woman 84 are the same people who are complaining about Luke in the end of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And somebody commented, they're like, "You mean people with eyes?" I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." I'm like, you people are so fucking nitpicky. Like, Cheetah looks fine.
she really
What
did look fine.
what
I
did you
didn't notice
expect?
anything.
Did you expect Kristen Wiig to just like morph with an actual cheetah? What, stitch her into a cheetah suit and have her run around and look
I don't
like
know.
look like suburban Sasquatch? Like,
The monkeys from the gorilla suits from Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't I make a joke about that?
Yeah, you did.
I was like, when's the big sexy gorilla come out?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just am like a normie when it comes to special effects, or maybe other people are just being elitist. But like,
it definitely is them being elitist, because I appreciate the hell out of visual effects. And
I thought she looked fine.
Listen, visual effects is an art. It's not something that's slapped together for amusement. It's not something that's just stamped on and shipped out. Visual effects are somebody spending weeks, if not months, perfecting something to look as good as they can get it to production, and then have the producers and directors go, yeah, that looks good. Let's do it.
I think people just don't understand how much work goes into it.
They don't. And the problem
and
with
it's
it
not like
is,
it looked like Cats.
No.
You know, like as much as I praise animators and things, Cats looks atrocious.
Yes.
It simply does. Like it didn't look anything like that in my opinion.
Unsettling. But...
Yeah, it is creepy looking.
No, like that looked perfectly fine. Now, that's the thing too that people need to understand about CG is not perfect. CG technology has only been heavily in use since the early 90s. So it's barely 30 years old. CG.
And we're not going to look back at things now the way we look back at like things from the 90s.
Yeah, like somebody go back and watch Jurassic Park and tell me that looks atrocious. It doesn't look atrocious. It still looks good. I'm not going to sit there and go, that brontosaurus doesn't look good, so this movie is like I'm not gonna be one of those people. Like that was an art.
Yeah,
those people they put time and effort into that.
Yeah.
Like, so when somebody does CG and it's not fantastic, listen, if it keeps me at, like, we've watched shitty movies with shitty CGI where I'm like, this is god awful. Like, how did this even reach production? But when there's effort put in, I'm not going to complain. I'm not.
So you're telling me that the Power Rangers movie from 1995 was not good? CG.
Was there effort put into it? Well, it was not good.
That was like the worst thing I could think of at the moment.
Oh no, I've seen terrible CG. And in fact, like, Lionsgate is definitely a perpetrator when they use CGI blood instead of scripts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it just looks fucking awful.
That's
CGI I'll complain about, because that's just something that you can buy in a package, like a visual effects package from like a special effects website that you just splice into a shot in After Effects.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's lazy ass CG.
Well,
but shit like that, like in this movie with Cheetah, quit complaining about it.
Yeah, for real.
You guys sound like children.
They probably are.
They probably are.
Well, that was that. Wonder Woman. We had a recommendation from Mike.
Yeah.
So, pray tell.
Yeah, so I recommended Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. In a nutshell, it's basically just, this is going to sound negative, another retelling of the original Mortal Kombat tournament, only more focused on Scorpion's story. But this is a rated R movie, animated movie.
Yeah, animated film.
So that's
as I could have guessed that it was rated R.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't start off like, it starts off with pretty good violent, like, hard violence, but it doesn't start the swearing up until about halfway through.
Yeah,
and
Johnny shows up.
Then they just start throwing F-bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
Sonya throws a couple out, but I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go, and any fan of Mortal Kombat knows the original story.
Well, this I
don't know how much you guys know. So.
This is like technically I mean, I was a little bit familiar with the idea, but this is really the first time I've ever really understood or heard the Mortal Kombat story.
Okay,
So
this was all news to me.
Pretty much all new to me as well. So Is Raiden always like that like finds the champions of Earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't really ever, like, in the Mortal Kombat tournaments, like, he's never a combatant.
Okay, so it's kind of strange that in the game he's a fighter.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense in that aspect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so later on in the storyline, Raiden does join the combatants when it's not the actual Mortal Kombat tournament. Like, I don't know, in like Armageddon storyline, everybody battles that's ever been a character. There's like 50 characters in that game. But
yeah, I liked the that it had like cameos or kind of like like Easter eggs of characters that have been in the Mortal Kombat games. I mean,
there was a lot
chiefly like Reptile. He fought and Baraka. He fought Johnny Cage, and Reptile fought Sonya.
Yeah.
So like, but there was more even aside from that. Like just like scanning the hall of the combat.
Oh yeah, when
arena.
they were in that I guess there's no other word for it, but it's like a hall. I mean, there was characters in there that I don't even remember their names. Like, I remember them to see them, but
yeah, I saw the one cowboy guy. I remember him from one of the games.
Oh, okay, yeah. Specifically, Johnny interacts with that vampire woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her name, but she was literally in one game. So it's kind of cool that they use very obscure characters as well.
Johnny is like, I'll just go ahead out and say it. He's my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah.
And he is such a fucking blockhead the entire time. It like even through his fight, like after his fight with Baraka, he's like, whoa, I don't think this is a movie set. It's like, no, fuck you, idiot.
You should do that exactly like the moment that he swung his arm blade at
Yeah,
you.
not only that, but like you were teleported to the top of this like temple. Like, like that should have been a clue for you.
Yeah. I mean, he's not usually that dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's always very thick-headed and very self-centered.
I know that there have been live action movies done of this story.
Have you guys not seen those either?
But I feel like this animated version has taught me one thing: do it animated.
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of the stuff that they're trying to do in this, if you had done it in live action, would just look stupid. And
yeah, I mean,
and...
simply just like Liu Kang's moveset. It's even attempting it in live action is gonna look foolish.
So
you know,
animated looks like this. This is a case of do animated, do not do, like this is like Spider-Verse, where Spider-Verse worked really well for the characters that they were using and everything because it was animated.
Yeah,
everything flowed better. You were able to animate things that wouldn't be able to be done physically, and I think that's why it worked, and I think that's why this works.
Yeah. No, I like the there's only been 2 live action movies,
Annihilation
and just Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Annihilation not regarded as good at all, but I like it because I just, you know, I don't know, I grew up with it as a kid, but the violence is nothing like this because I don't even know if they're PG-13.
Yeah,
they might be just because of the fighting in general, but there's definitely not like blood. And
I do have one problem with the violence.
Yeah,
is that it does this fucking stupid thing that got popularized in the early 2010s, where it's like blood splashes on the camera lens.
Yeah,
because you know, and it's like it just like completely pulls me out of the movie. It's like I'm supposed to be immersed in this world. And it's like, oh, blood all over the screen. I can't see a fucking thing.
I got blood on my eyes.
Yeah, it's like, that's not how it's gonna be. It's gonna like fly past you. It's not gonna obscure you like that. Yeah. And that's like one thing, like even in live action movies, like it did it in 300 too.
Yeah.
It's like that, and like, it just bothers me.
Live action isn't bad, but there's absolutely no reason for it in an animated setting.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like doing that trope because it was popular. But there are instances of hyper animation in this. Like, it's one of I think it's Scorpion's one of his, like, when he's still alive, one of his scenes where it like goes all red and he's like a white silhouette and like he's like going through with like katanas and stuff. It's like, holy shit, that is crazy looking.
No, I know. I love the animation for this.
We brought it up. Their knuckles look a little strange, but I think that's just because of
that was like their shadowing.
Yeah, it's really sharp and like angular animation, which I do really like.
I wouldn't have noticed. I'd never noticed that until you mentioned it. But then I saw it everywhere.
Yeah, every character pretty much has those weird knuckle shadows. I mean, hands are hard to draw. That's I'm not gonna fault them for making it all look like that.
Hey, is this what a knuckle looks like? Yeah, sure.
They're square, right? They're square.
They're square, right? They did look like blocky hands.
Yeah,
because of it.
So for any fan or for you guys that don't particularly know, the way that this tournament ends is nothing like anything before. Like, Scorpion in the original movie was defeated by Johnny Cage and had nothing to do with the end of the tournament. So this is basically a reimagining /
Is that like canon in the games as well? Because I know that
this
there's
has nothing to do with the
I know
games.
that there's like multiple canons for the games and everything. So
so there would technically be the canon for the games. I guess now the canon for animation, because this would be standalone. There's nothing.
It looked like at the end it was setting it up to
continue. I hope that there's another one. And then the live action movies are just they're loosely connected. I mean, same actors, but there was also recast for some, like Sonya Blade was recast then. But
so was Shang Tsung.
No, he died at the end of the first one.
Oh.
Raiden was recast.
But in the in one of the newer video games, the actor who played
they brought back in the newest one.
Yeah.
Which it was pretty crazy, like when you see him,
and it's actually
in the story,
actor,
and it's
like
actually him,
based on him.
Like, I don't know.
I think his name's Cary is his name, Cary.
It could be. I don't know.
But he's a Japanese American actor.
He's Grandpa Tsunami.
He was in Balls of Fury.
Grandpa from Johnny Tsunami.
Yeah.
No, that's him.
Yeah, I know. But
it's like I saw it. What did I see? It was something. Oh, it was a meme that said it was. It said me accidentally making eye contact with the crackhead in the 7-Eleven, and it's Shang Tsung going, "Your soul is mine." And I like saw him and I was like, I know that guy from somewhere. And I found it was from Mortal Kombat, but I was like, no, I know him from somewhere else. So I started like Googling it. And then I was like, I recognize his face, but I don't see anything in his filmography. So I scrolled through a little further and I saw Balls of Fury. And I was like, wait, I was like, it's that guy.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, that movie's hilarious.
Okay.
It's basically Mortal Kombat with ping pong.
Okay.
So
that's exactly the setup.
All right.
So there's like 3 worlds that are being represented in this Mortal Kombat, which is the Outer Worlds, the Nether Realm, and the Earth Realm.
Yep.
Are there more?
Oh, there's
Why aren't they why isn't there like ambassador for them in this movie?
I mean, well, there's not. That's really only. That's all that's represented here. There's Asthenia, I think, is one of them, or something like that. That's where Katana's from. I don't know them offhand, but
okay. I was just curious because
and they might not be canon in this time or what. I don't know.
Just not yet.
Yeah,
I was just curious because I mean, whenever it was explaining about the old gods and it had like 8 worlds, and I was like, okay, well, why are there only 3? Like warring factions right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through the other ones. Baraka's from his own as well.
Oh, and he was there, so.
And he was there. And we did see a lot more than.
We saw a
ships.
bunch of ships coming too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So just I guess not enough time to really get into the other ones.
Fair enough.
I forget most of their names.
Would have turned into an anime where they're like so and so from so and so.
Yeah,
and then it has, like
exactly.
a little like thing for like 2 minutes.
This would
and then
be
they're
good
like,
for
and so-and-so from
this would be good as like
Oh,
an animated
it would.
show.
It would.
It would
actually.
be awesome.
It
Yeah.
would be pretty great.
Uh,
I'd watch
there
the
was
shit
a
out
T-
of it.
There
Like,
was a TV show in the 90s.
That's a hard market though.
It is.
Like with HBO Max, you could not dump it, but you could put it on there because that has an adult market, and it's clearly, you know,
Yeah.
I think it would do well on something like that, especially like the voice talent's really good. Like Joel McHale as Johnny Cage was a fun surprise.
and it worked for him.
Yeah, it's perfect.
He is like the only one who could actually like voice him.
I was hoping to see more nut punches, but it was only the one.
Yeah.
Because I don't
One
know if this
solid
is like
dick punch.
I don't know if this is like typical of Johnny's moveset, but I know in the later games it like revolves completely around that.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
nut
no,
punches.
that's been his thing since the first game ever.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, so just a little teaser with.
I mean, it got more in depth because it used to be just a split in the punch.
Okay.
That's all the original one was, and then I mean, then he went crazy with it.
He's
in much
going
later
like.
games.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I think that's in the newer one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah, I do really hope that they continue with this because I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I honestly, Mike, you made me a fan of Mortal Kombat.
All right.
Like I was a passing fan. This is like Boba Fett. I was a passing fan before, but after watching this, I was like, I literally before my phone died was like looking up on Xbox Marketplace like how cheap the
It's
Mortal
on sale right
Kombat
now.
games are that I could buy it and play it.
I don't currently own it myself, and it's on sale right now in Stadia, and I kind of want to buy it.
Yeah, I was just looking at it and I was like, I could play the shit out of that game.
It's like all the DLC for $40. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow. Oh yeah, the Ultimate.
yeah,
Yeah, I just saw that was $41.99.
Yeah. yeah. So
And they keep adding all the actual pop culture references. Like they
Yeah.
started that with Soul Calibur, and now they're doing it
Oh,
with
yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Soul Calibur was only like one character per.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had
Thing.
Yoda,
Link and
like,
Link and Yoda
yeah.
and Darth Vader.
Yeah, Link was on the GameCube on the second game,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 360 one was Yoda, and then the PS3 was Vader.
Yeah.
So that was
that's
pretty
right.
cool because like color scheme wise, like
Mm.
PS3 was black, and then Xbox always had green in it, so
Mm-hmm.
it kind of made sense. But
Yeah, I mean, other than just like the typical story
yeah,
that you get with Mortal Kombat, there's not much to talk about other than like the crazy choreography with the fights.
yeah,
Like it's really impressive.
Yeah, the animation style I really liked.
I think my favorite bit is probably Johnny running away from Baraka as the temple's like exploding. And he like dives off. I don't remember what he says, but he like flips him off. And
he said like, "Eat my dick." That's
Yeah.
what he said. He said, "Eat my dick," and like
It
gave
flipped
the
him off
double
and
bird
just-
as he jumped off the ledge.
yeah, that was great.
didn't get one offensive move in on
Nope.
Baraka
No.
that I remember.
He like threw some stuff at him.
Yeah, he
like,
threw some like
deflected it,
pottery
yeah.
or something because he was trying to find something to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. And Scorpion's story, obviously, everybody.
Yeah, I love it because Scorpion's my favorite. It's one of those. It's a cliche thing, but I love Scorpion.
I know I went to the bathroom when he started fighting actual Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
So when I came back and like, was it Quan
Chi.
Yeah.
tells him he's like it wasn't actually Sub-Zero, and I was imagining like when he's beating up Sub-Zero and he's like, whoa, dude, I don't even know you, like, and he's just like beating the holy shit out of him.
Sub-Zero. It might have been when you were back there, but when Scorpion shows up, I forget what he says. But Sub-Zero, like with his eyes, because you
Yeah.
can see their face.
Yeah, he's like, yo! And then
Sub-Zero just gives his face like,
What?
what man? Like,
yeah.
Huh?
oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I told you you'd die for this. I don't even know who you are. And he's like Thanos.
Yeah.
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, and then obviously it saves the big skull fire reveal for the end when he kills Quan Chi.
Yeah.
And
That's
breathe.
one of his finishing moves.
Melts his bones down with the fire breath.
Which is also funny because that's literally how it looks in the game.
I'm wondering if, since he got the key, if he's going to
Unlock Shinnok.
unlock Shinnok,
Yeah.
in the well, if there's a sequel, which I do, as I said, I
Shinnok,
hope it happens.
I hope there's
Shinnok
one,
was
too.
the big bad in the last game, not 11 but 10. So yeah,
Mortal Kombat 12 is
Shinnok-
coming out soon.
Shinnok, is it?
I keep getting emails.
Isn't there a live action Mortal Kombat coming out?
Yes.
Okay, that's why. I thought.
It originally was supposed to come out in January, but it now has. No
Well,
date.
I hope that it isn't.
It's part of WB.
I mean, the way. Oh, WWE. Oh,
WB.
Oh, I thought you said WWE. I was like, oh no.
It's produced by
But
WWE.
even still,
WE Films.
Stone
presents.
Cold is playing Scorpion.
but
No, he's playing Sub-Zero. That makes so much more sense.
Stone Cold, you moron. But yeah. With the way that technology is now, I think that you could make it look okay, but I still
So
think animation
It's
is the way
supposed
to
to
go.
be rated R, and there's supposed to be fatalities.
Well,
So
We'll
I
see.
don't.
I wasn't honestly. I wasn't excited. Like I had no anticipation for it
Yeah.
before watching this film, but I'm
Yeah.
I'm interested now for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it was this was a highly entertaining
Yeah. It's,
movie. This would be something I would watch again.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like
but-
I would grab it off the shelf.
And
just
it's
to
short
watch it.
too,
Yeah.
so it's not like
It's not terribly long.
No,
so you're not like
which
stuck.
most animated features aren't too terribly long.
Yeah.
They get right to the point.
And this
Yeah.
has nothing to do with DC, but like WB/DC animation is just
They kill it
like
every
we
time.
talked about earlier a little bit. It's just so good.
Yeah, they're really great. Well, we have anything else to add?
I don't have anything else. It's just a great movie.
Yeah.
And
It was a very good movie.
I think I'll rate it a 7.5 out of 10. It's not quite an 8, but it's just because it's kind of simple in plot, but it's
Yeah.
very entertaining still.
I'll piggyback on that. 7.5 out of 10.
all right.
Very, very good. Very entertaining. Love the style. Very much want a sequel
Yeah.
or a series.
So my rating is based on 25 years of loving the franchise. Yes, 25. I'm 30. I was probably 5 when I played the first game. Think of that as how you will. I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna get 9.5. When I first saw this, I forget exactly what the first move is that Scorpion does, but like whatever the first one is where he either cuts somebody's limb off or whatever, I was like, oh shit, this is that kind of movie.
I think he hacked someone's head
yeah.
in or something.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was arm or head, but because like I saw it was R, but I'm like, all right, there's just probably like a bunch of blood. I wasn't thinking literal decapitation.
That one guy, he cuts him his head off, and then he cuts his head in like
Yeah.
3 pieces.
Yeah,
It's like crazy.
yeah. It looks awesome.
But and the thing that and that's part of the stylization. But like when he cut his head off, it just kind of looked like
Sushi.
well, yeah, it kind of looked like how you see like cartoon steaks. Are
Yeah.
drawn.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it just kind of looked like his head just became like floppy steaks after he cut it off. Like there was no like solid pieces. It's just like
Yeah.
I imagine they fell to the ground and stacked up.
Yep. Made a face on the
Oh,
ground.
that's great. Yeah. So when you grow up a fan of this franchise and you get something this awesome, it I don't know, it's kind of mind blowing. I don't know what else to say about it really.
All right, that was our recommendation for this week, and we have another one incoming
That's right, we do.
by Aaron.
I done a lot of thinking about this one, especially after a comment made yesterday. I've done a lot of thinking about the movie that I wanted to recommend, and this is it's become one of my favorite movies from the late '90s. And I think you guys will enjoy it too, as much as I've enjoyed it. We're going to watch Crimson Tide, starring Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington,
Okay.
from 1995.
All right. Sounds good.
I've heard those words, but I don't know.
If you don't want to get spoiled for Crimson Tide, make sure to watch it before our next episode drops.
Watch it on Amazon Prime.
Thank you all for watching and listening. Hope you enjoyed our talk about Wonder Woman and our rants about DC and our conversation about Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge. I know we had a blast talking about it, and we will see you next time to follow up the rest of the year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.
Get over here.